You've all heard, we are perfect, whole, and complete. And it can become very rote if you let it. Try not to let anything become rote, because it's always worth a deeper dive. Perfect, whole, and complete. We're not lacking anything. We're not broken. We're not missing anything. So, if nothing's missing and everything's already complete, if this God, this one source we believe in, doesn't know anything about discomfort or pain or brokenness, then why divine discomfort? I'm a person who questions everything. And I always have been, and that's how I learn, because I ask questions. I don't know how my mom felt about that. I think probably good, because she taught me stuff. But why divine discomfort if the divine is already whole, perfect, and complete? Our soul. This is how I reconcile that. Our soul, our spirit, the part of us that is more than this. We all know that, right? You know, there's something greater inside. Harold even sang about it. So much greater than any of us can ever be, than any of us ever even know. The soul, the spirit of us then, is perfect and whole and complete. We've all heard the phrase, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Again, don't take it rote. We are spiritual beings having a human experience, but we get so focused on our human experience that we forget sometimes, oh yeah, I am a soul. I am a spiritual being. Therefore, I am already perfect and whole and complete. We forget that. And I remind you and I remind myself of that every single week, that that's a core of our teaching. Our humanness comes in and we get thrown off of the truth of our being. We doubt ourselves. We doubt the pilots in the airplane. We go with that. And we start to doubt. We throw things off. This whole living experience throws us off of our spiritual track. And so, Vonnie, sometimes we just need to, instead of rushing, we need to stop and slow down. It's like, that fits in there perfectly. Because our human experience wants to figure it all out. Our human experience wants to make it right. Our human experience wants to control it all. And sometimes the best thing to do is just let go. Just take a little rest. Just slow down a little bit and remember the truth of our being. So here we are having this human experience that doesn't always look whole and perfect and complete. And many religions say, you are being tested by God. In this philosophy, we say nothing like that. We don't believe that there's anything outside of us saying, this is your test now, and let's see if you're going to pass it. Kind of, to me, that feels like a mean-spirited view of God. We're not being tested by God. So what is it then when we come up against these doubts and these things that throw us off? This is what I believe. My internal nature has been created to evolve, and so has yours. Our internal nature has been created to evolve. I'm going to say it again because that's important right there. Internal, nothing outside saying you're being tested, you're getting this thing. Our internal nature is meant to evolve. As we evolve, that's when we bump up against the earthly things, the human experiences, and they create discomfort. Because it shouldn't be like that, or why is this happening to me? Our internal nature is to evolve. And sometimes that experience shows up and something says, I know I'm meant to evolve here, but the human world goes, oh, but that's too scary. I know I'm meant to evolve here. Oh, but that's too scary, right? That's the thing to me that creates the discomfort. Something in us wants something greater. I want to do that. I want to achieve that. And then we go, let me stay tucked in my bed because it's too scary. Anybody ever felt that?
Yeah.
That to me is what the discomfort is about. That push and pull between wanting to grow and evolve and wanting to stay safe. It creates that feeling. So the question is, am I going to evolve or am I going to stay safe? Both. Both things. It kind of depends on what thing it is and how much I'm ready to push myself and how much I'm ready to pull back. And that's a really wise thing to understand about yourself. If you find you're always pushing, it's time to take the rest. If you find you're always staying safe and staying in your little house, it's time to push. The wisdom of knowing the dance between evolving and staying safe. There's a wisdom in that, I believe. And it got me this morning, got me so much that it was bringing tears. Because I'm right in the midst of it in a lot of areas in my life right now. Is this time to evolve and push? And that thing I'm supposed to do on Tuesday, it's like, oh my God, who am I to think I should, right? It's creating this conflict in my head. Some leadership thing I'm going to go do. And it's like, Shawn, just show up. Just show up. Because part of your nature is wanting to evolve into this new thing. And yeah, it's scary. But show up anyway. Show up anyway. I have a Daniel Nahmod lyric running through my head. I wake up each day and do the best I can. And when I hear the music, dance. No matter whether you're a dancer, you get the idea, right? What he's saying, when I hear the music, when I'm cold, go for it. Wake up each day and do the best I can. Just show up. Sign language. Just show up. Admitting that it, yes, can be scary. But, the Bible said, if the people don't have vision, they perish. Maybe that applies here too. The vision is the evolving. The perishing is the always wanting to stay safe. Something to kind of mix in there. So I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
How many of you have seen the Barbie movie? How many of you have not yet seen it but think you're still going to? One or two. So I'm going to talk about it, but about how much do I say? Because if you still think you're going to see it, I don't want to say too much, but it's going to make a really good point here. So for those of you who are like, I don't want to hear what she has to say, then maybe you need to take a break. Walk down the hall or something. All right, so I saw it just recently. Yes, Bob?
They're showing it for free at Parnell Center, the Senior Center.
There you go. Go see it for free. Here's what I'm going to say if you see it. Take a metaphysical, metaphorical mindset to watch it. Because the reason I wasn't going to, but I got so curious because I had people say, the worst 2 hours of my life. I shouldn't have wasted that 2 hours of my life. And I hear other people come out with all this metaphysical interpretation of, ooh, look at what's being said. The message, if you can look at it as a message, woo, it's got big message. Now, I would tell you that this is a little disclaimer, I tend to look at everything from a sociological point of view. Sociological, psychological, those are the things I studied in college before I decided to run off and be a professional dancer. Sociology and psychology was what I was studying. It fascinates me. And then I find Ernest Holmes and he says collective consciousness. Oh, same thing. Collective consciousness and sociology go hand in hand. That fascinates me about humanity. And I see things that people go, oh, I never thought of that. So I always go from that point of view, if you haven't yet noticed. That's where I come from. So, back to Barbie. The whole movie sets up, in this very quick summary, the challenge between being perfect and being real. Mm-hmm. It really sets it up. Now, some parts of the movie I could have done without. There were a couple parts that were a little bit corny. All right, but the message between being perfect and being real. Throughout the whole entire thing, it starts out in Barbie Land, it's all perfect. Everything's perfect. It's always a perfect day. It's like little kids playing with the Barbies. It's like everything is just perfect. And you go, who remembers Weird Barbie? This is where I don't want to say too much. I'm going to say it anyway. There's a weird Barbie. You get weird if somebody plays with you too much. So then they show a little girl painting green lipstick on the Barbie and cutting her hair all off and singeing and burning her hair and putting too much mascara on one eye and putting weird clothes on her. So they have this character who plays weird Barbie like, I resonate with you. Kind of the one who doesn't exactly fit in anymore because she doesn't look perfect by any stretch of the imagination. All the other ones are perfect perfect makeup, perfect hair, perfect everything, right? So then you see Weird Barbie, and then you see Alan. Alan. I'm Alan. I'm Alan. He's the one. Nobody pays attention to poor Alan. He's the one. And do you all not know somebody? Or maybe you were that somebody. Think junior high. Whew, junior high. That's the time when that shows up the most, I think. I'm not going to play with that kid, because they're weird. Oh, there's Weird Barbie. I'm Alan. It's like, everybody just disregards Alan. So they're bringing in these characters where it's like this perfect little world, and these don't fit. Okay, now I'm not going to tell you this whole thing that happens in the middle. I'm just going to jump now to the end, because I think saying this, the challenge of being perfect and real, I don't know about you, but that's where it's at for me. All the time, it's like that image, perfect, take charge, it gets so tiring. And being real, sometimes somebody don't like it. Oh, you're a weird Barbie. Okay. The woman who created Barbie, Ruth Handler, at the very end of the movie, Barbie goes through a total breakdown, total meltdown, because she didn't know if she wanted to go back to that perfect world or if she wanted to become real. And Ruth Handler takes her hands at the end and lets her see humanity, lets her see all kinds of ugly stuff and pretty stuff and everything in between. And she says one line, got tears to my eyes. She said, being human is uncomfortable. If we can accept that at a very deep level, I think it would solve a lot of issues. Being uncomfortable, being human is very uncomfortable. It is. Because now you're with that person, let's get real, you're with that person that you're not sure how to be with them. Do I just let my hair down and be myself, or do I have to be an image of something with this person? Oh, did I cross the line? Did I say too much? Did I cuss in front of that person and I shouldn't have cussed in front of that person? Did I say something? I stuck my foot in my mouth. Oh my gosh, did I look too controlling? With that, I don't want to be controlling. Don't let me be controlled. Anyone else go through that dance? It's like a daily dance. I don't know, I always just think it's me. That's why I tell Bonnie, these talks are all for me. I struggle with the thing. Like, did I say the wrong thing? Oh my gosh, I didn't mean to say the wrong thing. I don't want to hurt your feelings. Yeah. All that stuff. Being human is uncomfortable. The more I accept that, the more I can accept my guffaws in life and my times when I stick my foot in my mouth and not worry about life so much. When I know being human is uncomfortable, then when I have a fear about something, it's like, well, that's part of being human. Humanity has some fearful things in it, has things that doubt. Our spiritual whole and complete bumps up against that stuff. And sometimes the human stuff is a little scary, but it requires us then to always go back to what is my greater truth. I am a spiritual being. I am a creation of the divine, which is living through me. Let me go back to that premise. Take a breath and let the stuff fall away a little bit. There's another singer-songwriter that's in my head right now, Jamie Lula. He has a song he wrote years ago. It's called Something's Calling Me. Something's calling me a little bit deeper than I've ever been before. To me, that's my internal evolution. It's natural. It wants to evolve. Something's calling me. And I remember the first time I heard it, I thought, oh yeah. I heard it when I was in the school of ministry, and I'm like, what are you doing here? To myself, what are you doing here? I'm not going to speak in front of people. And that song came, and I'm like, do you want to believe that? Because everything in my soul said, you're evolving into this next phase of your life. You're already enrolled, you're already matriculated, you might as well stay. You might as well do something with it. Something's calling me a little bit deeper. And one of the lines is, feels like I'm walking on marbles. This is why I said at the beginning, this is certainly not just me. It's a human thing. He wrote that song back in the 90s, I think. Feels like I'm walking on marbles. My head in the clouds, with the Spirit, my head in the clouds, my naked legs left dangling. Oh my gosh, the symbolism that's being spoken in these lyrics just speaks to this whole thing about divine discomfort, the discomfort of human and spirit. And then I read this book. It was by Glennon Doyle. The book is called Untamed. Read it with my women's group. Fabulous, fabulous book. I don't remember where she was in the book. Maybe one of you two will remember where she was. But she went somewhere. I don't know, maybe it was a school, high school, maybe it was an office, I don't know. She went somewhere. And as she's telling the story of her family and raising her 2 daughters and all these difficulties she goes through, she sees a sign. And the sign says, "We can do hard things." In the women's group, we went, whoa, that really got our attention. We can do hard things. And it got Glennon Doyle's attention too. And she said, oh my gosh, that's becoming my family's mantra. And so she brought it home to her daughters, and that became one of the things she talked about all the time. We can do hard things. Mommy, this is too hard. Yeah, I know, but we can do hard things. Whatever it was, I recommend the book. Untamed gives you a big clue what the book is all about. Her life from being comfortable and perfect to being real. It's all in there. We can do hard things. So I'm going to go to the PowerPoint from Ernest Holmes that I gave you last week because it fits today. We are in the world and of it, and it is good that it is so. The world is all right when we view it correctly. Who knows what would transpire if all people would speak the truth? It has never yet been tried. But let not the mouth of the profane hinder those who would enter. Let not the mouth of the disbelievers and the crude enter or get in the way of those of us who want to try to live this way, who would enter this kind of thinking. To me, this is beautiful. We're in the world. We are human, and it is good that it is so. But who knows if we all spoke the truth, which is we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Both things are true. And then today, to tie this together, what do we sing at the beginning? Stand. Let there be peace, I must stand for peace. Let there be love, I must stand for love. Let there be joy, I must stand for joy. We are making a new world now. We can do hard things. That's not an easy task to do. And you tie that then with Black History Month or any other thing like that and say social change is difficult. Social change can be very challenging, but no, let not the ones who say it's too damn hard get in the way of those of us who would try. All right? Let not those voices stop us from trying to do the social change. There is discomfort. We can do hard things, and it's a necessary step of that. Lastly, I want to go back to Weird Barbie so bad, but I'll move on. In 1992, Reverend Dr. Peggy Bassett, who was my first, back then we called it Church of Religious Science. We didn't call it Centers for Spiritual Living. She was my first. She got ALS, thank you. ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. And we, as a congregation, watched her lose the use of her legs and moved in to serve us on a wheelchair. Big, powerful woman. Can you imagine how hard that was for her to say, I can do hard things? Sitting in a wheelchair and letting somebody wheel her up to the platform, she didn't want anybody to see her that way. But she let them. She let them. It was very, very uncomfortable with her. I was close enough to have some really intimate conversations. She didn't like it. But she says, I got to practice what I preach. Then we watched her lose the use of her arms. Her husband had to feed her, literally. She would sit there in her chair and she'd say, enchilada? He'd give her a bite of enchilada. Salad? Give her a bite of salad. Margarita? She'd sip her margarita. She didn't have to give up all the things she loved in life just because. And so now she's a big, powerful woman asking this man to feed her. Uncomfortable. We can do hard things. We watched this all happen. Her speech started to get very, very difficult. After a while, she can still talk, but it was hard to understand. So on her very, very last message, when she decided, I need to step down, I need to stop. When she decided, her topic was, who said life was easy? Who said life was easy? To me is the same idea of the challenge of perfect and real. It's the divine discomfort in us. It's our evolution. That's not always easy. Can we accept it? Who said life was easy? And yet here we are. Here we are. So the question I would like you to take home, if you're up for the challenge, this is your mission if you should choose to accept it. Can I use discomfort to evolve for good? Can I use discomfort to evolve for good? Let's close our eyes. Taking a deep breath with me. Matter of fact, I'm going to sit down. Let's allow the rest that Bonnie read to us. Let's allow an openness of mind and heart. Let's try not to figure it all out right now, and let's just be. Let's be with the source, the God of our understanding. Let us recognize that intelligent mind that is ever present, including where we are. Let us feel the spiritual heart of who we truly are. We are part of something so much greater. And that's what I'm knowing for us right now. I'm aligning myself with this something greater. I'm breathing into it and I'm allowing that to be my greater truth. What I know for me, I know is true for all of us. And so I claim that we are indeed perfect and whole and complete. Deep within our divinity, that is our truth. I also speak this word that while we recognize perfect, whole, and complete, we also accept that sometimes humanity, being human, is uncomfortable. Both things are true, and we can do hard things. What I speak my word is the most is that we understand today that we are evolving souls. And everything in our life is not to be handled with intellect. Everything in our life is not to be handled by figuring it all out, but simply to be. So here we are, being, breathing, thinking, loving, moving. We are God beings having this human experience, and that is as intended. I'm grateful to remember this. I'm grateful to know that we are evolving. I'm grateful to know we can do hard things, and I'm grateful to know that we contribute to the collective consciousness simply by healing ourselves. And so with gratitude, I can release this prayer into the principle that's greater than I am and knows what it's doing, and I say yes. Join me in saying, "It is so." And let us do our affirmation. I will say first, I expand beyond my comfort zones, and I trust the source within to support me. Change can be challenging, but I can do hard things. Together? I expand beyond my comfort zones and trust the source within to support me. Change can be challenging, but I can do hard things.